What is that smell?
Oh, I found it. It's my jam. Yeah, that's right. This series was my freaking jam as a kid. I used to watch this show all the time growing up, especially because I was really watching just a lot of Cartoon Network as a kid. And if you were like me, watching Cartoon Network in the 2000s, then there's a good chance that you've at least heard of the Metal Saga of Beyblade. Yeah, I'm not really talking about the OG series. Sorry to everybody that goes, oh, the OG series is better. It's not like Beyblade is something that I would actively, go out of my way to watch. I'm only talking about this because I went on a nostalgia binge of the Metal Saga because it was part of my childhood. I'm not really engaging much with it outside of that, and I'm not talking about freaking Shogun Steel, whatever the hell this show is. I'm just talking about the three that I grew up with. Anyways, let's do this. So what the hell is Beyblade anyways? Well, Beyblade is about these spinning metal tops here, okay? And these metal tops dink against each other. They dink and they dank, and they just do their thing until one of them stops spinning or one of them gets launched out of their little arena. Yeah, this is a show that's meant to promote a product. Yeah, it's a kids anime, so you know what that means. Each episode focuses on a new Beyblade, sell the new product, next. That's just the way the show goes, okay? But what made the show enjoyable, though, was the fact that it totally owned it, basically. The show doesn't make a lot of sense, but at the same time, though, you kind of just learn to accept that because the show accepts that, and it's fantastic. It's enjoyable the moment that you're able to start just acknowledging the absurdity of it all. Because there are times when you actually kind of get into it. The battles are really over the top. I don't really feel the need to talk about the Beyblades themselves, because what the anime did was bring about more so a character focus to the concept of Beyblading. Oh my goodness, isn't that just amazing? Oh well. Metal Fusion is our first entry into the franchise, and it is definitely most likely considered the best one by many people. I would consider it the best objectively as well, if I'm being honest. It definitely has the best pacing, it uses its cast the best, it's the most well-rounded, and it's the most tightly written. There are still flaws here and there, but it is ultimately the most objectively good entry into the Metal Saga, okay? Personally, it's my second favorite, because even though it is most well written out of the three, I still prefer the second entry, and I will explain why. But anyways, let's meet our cast.
What did you say?
Who do you think you are?
The name's Jinga. Jinga Hagane.
Jinga?
Our main character this time around is this dude. His name is Jinga Hagane, okay? And in terms of writing, this dude is about on par with your typical shonen protagonist, if I'm being completely honest with you. Jinga is not really a super complex character. He doesn't really stand out. In terms of writing, he's about on par with, characters like Natsu Dragneel, which isn't really much of a compliment, but at the same time though, in Metal Fusion, he's actually enjoyable in my opinion. I was able to get into his story despite how over the top and weird it is, because Jinga in Metal Fusion is a fully developed character. We know his past, we see him interact with other characters, and we just get a general sense for what his personality is and what his goals and dislikes are. He does suffer from a little thing going down the line where, because he is the main character, we end up sacrificing other characters' screen time to prop his ass up, which I'm not cool with. But we'll address that when we get there. Our next character up is Kenta Yumiya. Kenta he's a cool dude, you know. He's the underdog character. He shares a bit of a Kohai-senpai relationship with Jinga, in that Jinga arrives to town, saves him, and then Kenta's just like, dude, you're cool, I look up to you, I want to be a good blader like you. He starts the series completely irrelevant, and he starts the series not knowing a whole lot, and by the third series, he's a fully developed character, and he undergoes a fantastic arc, and he just becomes awesome. He becomes awesome. Our next character is this man right here, Benkei. Benkei the Chad. Benkei the Bull. Benkei is a very simple dude. He likes his friends, he likes food, and he likes to Beyblade. And he's super awesome for it. Except that he would unfortunately go on to become Flanderized in the series. It's an extreme tragedy, because after Metal Fusion, the series doesn't really know what they want to do with this guy. They use him fairly well in Metal Masters, but in Metal Fury, he gets totally squandered. So much so that he isn't even present in the final battle. I will talk about that more going down the line. Anyways, I was saving this character introduction for after introducing Kenta and Benkei, because I didn't want to give an extended section to her, but it's time to talk about Madoka.
I agree. But be gentle,
Madoka? Madoka Amano.
So, what the hell is Madoka? I'll tell you what Madoka is. Madoka is nothing but a filthy exposition vomiting machine. She exists for the sole purpose of telling the audience what the Beyblade is, what the Beyblade of the episode is, what's going on, and she does this by using her computer to scan and analyze Beyblades. And this computer is insane because it seems to work everywhere. I don't understand what it is or what it does or why no one else seems to have it. But other than that, she's essentially their mechanic. She repairs their Beyblade. She's got her little role. She's definitely much more of a... It's hard to explain. She's a bit more of a mascot character. She's a lot like Sakura was in the original Naruto series, except that the difference there is that they don't actually pretend that she's going to be relevant in any actual Bey battle. She's just there to vomit exposition and, of course, repair whoever's Beyblade needs fixing.
At last, my friend. It seems an opponent worthy of me and my Rock Leone has made himself known.
who are you?
I am Kyoya Tatagami. This should be interesting.
Kyoya Tatagami. This man is insane. He is another one of the faces of the Metal Saga, and for good reason. He is essentially the main rival to our main protagonist. And he's a lot like Vegeta and Seto Kaiba in the sense that he is so absurdly over the top and goes to insane lengths to get power in this series, like Vegeta. And just like Seto Kaiba, he's also very over the top. He's a freaking fantastic character, in Metal Fusion, because of these facts. I mean, this dude jumped out of a plane.
That sounds interesting. If it helps me defeat Jinga, I'll do anything. Just you wait, Jinga Hagane!
He has a lot of legitimacy as a rival, too, because of these things. And it also helps that the series doesn't downplay him. The thing is, the series wants to keep him relevant, so they're always giving him feats and the like. He wins battles. He does really well. He's by far one of the strongest characters in the entire series, without question. And the series likes to give him respect. He doesn't have as many wins against Jinga as Jinga does against him. But at the same time, though, there's legitimacy there, because Kyoya has defeated Jinga before. That's the difference between this rivalry and other rivalries in anime, like, say, Vegeta. Sorry, Vegeta, maybe one day you'll get your time in the spotlight. Anyways, as the introductions go on for this series, we're introduced to this dude, Doji. He's basically he's a main villain. He's a main antagonist in Metal Fusion. One of two, in fact. But he's the one who basically defeats Kyoya at the beginning of the series and has Kyoya undergo this little training thing at this location called the Dark Nebula Organization. I stress that it's called the Dark Nebula Organization because that's all we know about this place. It's just called the Dark Nebula Organization. We don't know what they do. We don't know what their whole shtick is. They're just evil. That's it. We don't know anything about what they did before this point. But they're here, and Doji is a big part of this series, and he's really over the top, and he's freaking hilarious. Especially with the little localization presence that they give to us.
Delicious. Eating a pepperoni pizza with a knife and fork is so much more civilized than eating with one's hands. And this orange juice is a perfect complement to the tangy tomato sauce.
Such beauty. Anyways, as the series goes on, our characters proceed to infiltrate the Dark Nebula Organization as sort of the climax to Act 1. And it's there that we are introduced to the best character in the Metal Saga. He is also the main antagonist of Metal Fusion. On top of that, his name is Ryuga.
Jinga Hagane! I'm surprised to see you again. You're not still mad at me, are you?
I'm not mad. Not me. You're just the one person I will never forgive.
Too bad. Because you know, Jinga, you're no match for my Beyblade El Drago.
Ryuga is everything that made Kyoya great turned up to 100. This man is so over the top, so serious, and he has such an insane presence that you just can't help but love him.
Hello there.
He's hilarious and over the top, and he's freaking fantastic. Like, I can't stress enough, he is the best character in this entire trilogy. And it's crazy, because we don't even have, like, a backstory to this guy. He's just introduced into the series, is insane, has one of the strongest Beyblades, and then just kind of exists the rest of the series. But he does have a character arc that spans over these 3 parts, and in part 1, Ryuga is the main antagonist. He is the main villain of this part. With part 2, he mellows out, even helps Jinga out a little bit, is more of a neutral party, and then in part 3, he's again a much more of a neutral party, but we get to see a softer side to the character, and we get to see some more development for him, which is freaking fantastic. But I'll talk about that when we get there. For now, just know this, Ryuga's a scary villain, and he's freaking funny as all hell. The introduction of Ryuga has a lot of implications onto the plots, because this is where the plot of Beyblade actually takes place. It's important to note this. Jinga is not a character that has any kind of active goals through most of the series. He does a little bit of Metal Fusion because his goal is kind of to find the people that did what they did to his dad. And so let's talk about that. I need to talk about the lore of Beyblade.
It certainly fits in very nicely with the plans we have already made.
Huh?
I think you're getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah, your first plan should be getting by us!
Though you call yourselves bladers, you don't know the real truth about Beyblading. There is a tremendous power hidden within bays. Since ancient times, the existence of bays can be found in moments throughout history. The power of Beyblades have been used to change the course of rivers and oceans. They have been used to defeat many armies and create huge empires. And one person is even said to have used that power to control the earth and bring on natural disasters. That's right, those who wield the tremendous power hidden within a bay may control the very world itself.
It's Beyblade, don't question it. Jinga's backstory is this. He was living in this village. Dark Nebula comes, Doji comes, and then Ryuga, God, this dude, this fantastic dude, comes along to take it back. So Jinga's dad, which, side tangent here, what the hell is this? Look at this outfit. What is this? I don't know. I don't know what this dude is. What is this dude's fashion sense? Oh my goodness. Anyways, this dude comes along and Jinga thinks that his dad is dead. Yeah, spoiler alert, his dad isn't freaking dead. He's just an extreme deadbeat. But regardless, Jinga thinks that he dies. And for the narrative, the audience thinks that he dies too. In a super dramatic backstory, he tells Jinga to take Pegasus and to go and defeat evil and the like. And Jinga's like, okay, Dad, I'll do it, Dad, I promise. And we're all good. Well, Jinga's not good. He just freaking got his ass kicked by Ryuga after the whole incident in the first act. After this point, he undergoes a little depression arc. He goes back to his village, and then he gets cheered up by his dad leaving a letter telling him that in a freaking obscure place, he was like, Jinga, do not come to this place unless you think that you were at your wit's end. And Jinga does. And there's a note there saying, there's nothing here. Stop being at your wit's end. And Jinga's like, okay, Dad. Okay, Dad. I'll stop being at my wit's end. And then everything's all hunky-dory. We also meet this dude in here, Hyoma. He's like Jinga's childhood friend. He's a main character, but I don't really want to talk a lot about him because he kind of doesn't really matter after Metal Fusion. So I'm just not really going to go a lot into him. He's Jinga's friend, and he just does this crap with the guys who are trying to find Jinga. That's about it with this dude. This is basically the first act. Yeah, the plot has kind of just been meandering along. The first act is slow. It's kind of slow. It exists to introduce the characters, and it kind of holds the audience over with this plot about Kyoya before we are introduced to the true main antagonist, Ryuga, and the Dark Nebula organization. Because the plot really kicks in the second act, and it starts with this little island arc, this tournament. Yeah, there's not much to say here. They kind of just duke it out, and we're introduced to one of the other main antagonists of Metal Fusion, and his name is Yu Tendo.
A fun game to play. I don't want it to be over. I just don't want it to be over. It is sad. I can only defeat 8 more people? How stinky!
Yu Tendo is basically a boy genius, a boy prodigy. He has a I was about to say stand. He has a stand. No, he has a bay that controls vibrations and the like, and he's very strong compared to the rest of the cast. In fact, he even defeats Jinga, which is incredible, actually. because Jinga is our main character, and going forward, the series definitely does not like having Jinga lose. Again, this is another reason why I'm actually fine with Jinga in Metal Fusion. It's because he actually loses, you know? He doesn't lose a lot, but he does lose a lot more compared to what we'll see down the line. But anyways, so there's a lot more vulnerability to him. But anyways, so Yu defeats everybody, and the whole thing with this island is that the WBBA, the Blading Organization, or whatever the hell they're called, I don't even know. They're basically like, okay, we'll get you guys one wish if you want a wish. And we'll get you whatever you want. So Yu decides to set up Battle Bladers, which is essentially this tournament in Japan, and you can only participate in it if you have these things here called Babe Points, which are not relevant past Metal Fusion, but for Metal Fusion they are relevant. You need 50,000 of them to participate, which is why it's going to be a tournament that only the elite, the most powerful, can participate in Japan. And everybody's all on board, and then Dark Nebula shows up, and they're just like, guys. And then Doji's like, guys, I will sponsor this tournament. And then he proceeds to sponsor the tournament all over them. I cannot believe this. But yeah, Ryuga shows up as well. They're basically saying Ryuga is going to participate in this tournament as well. So Jinga's like, okay, because this is Beyblade, and this is because this is Beyblade, and this is freaking crazy. He's like, okay, I will participate in this tournament too. I will win, have fun with my friends, and I will defeat the evildoers at the same time. Mind you, these are still the guys that Jinga thinks killed his dad. So it's really weird because remember, he underwent a whole stop being at your wit's end arc. Little tiny thing there. So I guess he's just kind of cool with them participating in the same tournament that he wants to participate in. But we're at an interesting point now, because now the series actually has a driving force behind it, and it's Battle Bladers. The characters are trying to get 50,000 Bay points. We now enter the second act. Like I was saying before, the second act mainly consists of the characters traveling around Japan, getting Babe points, and entering tournaments and the like. And we get to have a little bit more expansion on the Dark Nebula plot, because we are introduced to another one of our main antagonists. That's right, there are 4 going forward, and his name is Tsubasa.
Jinga Hagane, my name is Tsubasa. And this here is my partner.
I think his last name is Tsubasa Otori, and he's a very prominent character. Tsubasa's this cool dude who has an eagle. He's got a pet eagle, and his bay is an eagle, and he seems like a really calm and collected individual. Very spiritual and the like. He's a camper and stuff. But he kind of just joins the Dark Nebula organization, and everybody's just like, "Oh, dude, we thought you were cool. We thought you were a cool dude." But yeah, just like you, these two are essentially major antagonists that are meant to be like the characters that our cast has to overcome before facing off against Ryuga. But yeah, so I'm not really gonna go too in depth here. It's kind of just a matter of characters going around. We meet new bays, new bladers. Our characters are doing stuff, and then I guess this is a pretty major point of his character, so I'll make it a point of talking about it. Jinga starts to create a new special move. Major point of this arc revolves around that, because we're introduced to a new character, and his name is Fireblaze. Fireblaze is a weird vigilante-type anti-hero character that's introduced here. Basically, going forward, Jinga tries to use a new special move, and during one of the battles, he ends up getting 3rd place alongside Yu and Tsubasa. And funny enough, he is defeated, he's outdone by Kenta, who got kind of lucky, and Kiyoya, this is that point in the series where Kyoya's basically had his rivalry cemented with Jinga because he has defeated him. He's overcome 2 of the major antagonists along with Jinga himself. You know? But the special move pisses off this dude Fireblaze. And he comes along and defeats Jinga in a Bay battle because Jinga's special move can't be done. And then crushes his Bay points. And it's like, what the hell is going on? Who is this prick? Why did he do this? Like, what's this whole shtick? Well, the series tries to build up Fireblaze as this anti-hero because he saved Tsubasa from the Dark Nebula organization. Oh yeah, should have mentioned that earlier. Tsubasa is a double agent. Oh haha, he's sent by the WBBA to investigate the Dark Nebula organization. And he escapes in dramatic fashion thanks to this man, Fireblaze. And Fireblaze is later goes on to battle Jinga again, because Jinga decides to help his friends out instead of going to a final battle that would ensure that he gets 50,000 Bay points. So he goes and perfects a special move and defeats Fireblaze. And then the twist happens. Fireblaze was actually Jinga's dad the entire time. Like, what the hell? What an absolute prick! Can you believe that this dude faked his death and proceeded to then dress up like a freaking superhero like Batman or some crap, and then actively terrorize and bully his son, crush his Bay points, essentially crush his toys in front of him, and then just be an absolute prick to him the entire time until Jinga actually defeats him and he reveals his true identity. Like, I know that it made Jinga stronger, but goddamn, this dude is a complete deadbeat dad, and he acts like this was some noble thing. I had to pretend I was dead because Jinga. Otherwise, the Dark Nebula organization would know that I was still alive, and I'm trying to fight against them and all this crap. And it's like, shut up, dude. Shut up. You are a terrible father. You are in some ways worse than Jing. Yeah, you are worse than Jin in some ways, okay? At least Gon got to be raised by his aunt, you know. Who did Jinga get to get raised by? A talking dog? Freaking kidding me? Get out of here, prick. Anyways, the battle against Fireblaze is essentially capping off the second act of the series, as the characters now have enough Bay points to enter Battle Bladers. And so, we enter the third act, Battle Bladers, the climax of Metal Fusion. Battle Bladers is the third act of Metal Fusion. It is the main climax of this little series that we have here. And it's something, you know. It's just a big tournament arc, essentially. And it's like, cool. I mean, that's kind of all you needed. The series is at its best when it's just being balls to the wall with a bunch of Bay battles, you know? When it's just really over the top and just owning it. So I'm glad that the climax is essentially just a big tournament. And yeah, we get to see a bunch of character arcs come to fruition here. Jinga defeats Yu, so that's something. A lot of characters also defeat the minor antagonists that were introduced in the second act of Beyblade, and everything seems hunky-dory. Until it's revealed, I mean, let's get this out of the way. The whole point of Battle Bladers was for this dude Ryuga to gain power, because El Drago, Beyblade lore time, El Drago is a left-rotating Bay. It spins counterclockwise. Ooh, how frightening. And he uses the rubber on its spin track, that's right, rubber, to absorb spin strength. So its whole shtick is that it gets stronger when it fights against opponents, which is why it's so terrifying, because it can't be defeated by normal means. Anyways, every time that El Drago, or Lightning El Drago, with the dark power, defeats an opponent, he basically, like, sucks their soul out. It's so freaking absurd, but, like, look at this.
This is bad! Everybody run!
Hikaru!
Get out of there, Hikaru!
Like, damn, Hikaru should be dead. But anyways, so yeah, that's what the whole point of Battle Bladers is, and everything seems hunky-dory until the snake dude shows up and freaking, like, defeats Hyoma, and Hyoma starts, like, freaking out that his partner's getting destroyed. Oh no, guys. But yeah, I don't really care that much about Hyoma. So yeah, after that, Ryuga does this thing against Hikaru, and then there's all of a sudden stakes to this battle, because the characters realize, oh, wait a second, this is not going to be like some kind of hunky-dory battle anymore. This is actually kind of serious, and we might be in for a serious ass beating. So yeah, the second round starts. Jingek overcomes his opponent. I think his name is Ryutaro? I don't really know. I don't really care. Benkei and Kiyoya had their fight, which is cool. And Yu essentially defects to the other side because he finds out why Battle Bladers is going on, and he finds out that people part of the Dark Nebula organization who lose, Ryuga just goes ahead and sucks their soul out. So he and Kenta become friends. They become best friends, best buddies over here. And Kenta gets this peak moment where he battles against the snake dude and loses. But he almost didn't lose, so it's still impressive, you know, and he has been an underdog this entire time, so the fact that he's able to put up this much of a fight is an impressive thing. And this round caps with Tsubasa's battle against Ryuga, where he does his best. He has a strategy, so that's interesting, but he ends up freaking getting destroyed. Yeah, he gets wrecked, gets his soul sucked out, and the like. It's not good. It's not looking good. So, the third round starts, semifinals. Jinga defeats Snake Dude because power of friendship and a whole bunch of crap. And Kiyoya battles against Ryuga. And it's over the top, and it's insane, and it's everything I wanted out of Beyblade. And it's everything I was basically expecting out of Beyblade. It's freaking cool. And then, Kiyoya gets defeated. And now we're on to the final round. But before the final round, Fireblaze fights against Doji. Not really that big a deal. Yeah. Jinga fights against Ryuga. They use their Beyblades and they fight. And it's anime, and it's very over the top, but it's cool, you know? And Jinga defeats him because, again, power of friendship. Power of friendship. Pegasus! A lot of Pegasus shouting. And he wins. He defeats Ryuga. And Ryuga is being corrupted by dark power, and he's becoming more evil, but Jinga defeats him and saves him, and he gets spared because he wasn't the true main villain. Only Doji's the main villain. You see, only adults in Beyblade are villains. The kids are always just victims. But anyways, regardless. So Ryuga escapes. He's going to be lingering presence throughout the rest of the series. And he's going to be doing his thing. So, in conclusion, yeah, that was something. Metal Masters, not Metal Masters. Metal Fusion is a series that I care about a lot, you know. Like I said, I went on a binge watch of it, and nostalgia binge of it, and I enjoyed it, you know, it was enjoyable. I mean, second act was very slow, in my opinion. Same with the first act. It was kind of just a little bit slow in general, because a lot of this time is spent basically establishing minor antagonists that don't really matter a whole lot to the overall plot. But at the same time, though, it's still probably the best written out of all three of them, because it uses its cast the best. It's the most well-rounded. Nobody feels too neglected. Everybody plays a role. Yeah, it's good. You know, it's solid. But next time we're gonna be talking about Metal Masters. That's when crap is going to hit the fan. We're going to be going on a major journey because Metal Masters is my personal favorite. So until next time. Well, it's here. I did it. I got it done. Took a long time, but, you know. So, if you're watching this right now, I just wanted to say, I mean, if you're watching this right now, you either watch through the video, or you skip right to the end, which is A-okay by me. And I left a comment, I most likely left a comment on this video that states that there's a message at the end of it, so if you just watch that, perfectly fine with me. I do not care in the slightest, you know, because this video isn't really that good, unfortunately. I would like it to be, but yikes, that's just not how things worked out, is it? But it's like, after all this time, I finally got it done. This has been in the works for a while, and it was mainly because of the fact that school life happened, you know. What can you do about it? Sometimes you just gotta put stuff on the back burner until further notice, you know. But I finally got my foot in the door with this video, because I want to do a lot of stuff. I want to talk about games. I want to make skits. I want to make skits about games. I want to talk about things I like to talk about. I like movies. I like shows. I like a lot of stuff. And I'm super excited. I've been wanting to do this channel for a long time, but I really couldn't because it was like, there's no real videos that I wanted to do. Like, I posted miscellaneous stuff on my channel before this point, but, you know, none of that is really what I wanted to do. This is what I want to do right now. And I'm just super excited. It's gonna be a freaking grand old time, yeah? Oh god, that was so lame. I don't care though. What else is there to say? Not much. I needed to make this because I was thinking about giving up on it halfway through. I wanted to work on other stuff, but is it really abandoning a project if there's no channel there, you know? Because this is, like I said, this is my foot in the door video. I needed to just get this done so that way I have a benchmark, something to force myself forward now. Because now, whenever I give up on something, I actually have a foundation there that means something. Which I don't want to give up on anything. It's just that, like I said, got ideas, but didn't really have the time or memory on the laptop to spring the ideas into freaking reality. So here we are, after all this time. So I'm looking forward to the future. I'm going to be working on a lot of stuff, doing school stuff as well, and I can't wait. I'm just going to be doing this in my off time. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. If you're watching this, thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Maybe you'll hear back from maybe. No, you will hear back from me in the future. Anyways, have a wonderful day.
I don't usually try to wrap up. So let me continue right now. I'm too young to take their bullshit. I'ma teach them lessons. How I got over their coldness, so shit, I'm reckless. I can run fast, but I want you to hear my message. Cause if it's just candy to the ears, and I'm a wreckage. With a little bit of mace to your face, I'm tracing. Call the complacent, I'm not pacing. I'm so patient when I'm jaded. Cause I'm faded. It's okay, I'll stand and take it. Look at me, I've gone upgraded. Everyone around's just wasting their time with no time to waste it.